Hi, Claudia here from Create with Claudia. Thanks so much for joining me. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about where you can get free quilt patterns. You can buy so many beautiful patterns out there, but sometimes you want to save $1 or $2, or you're on a budget, whatever the reason is, you like to get a free pattern. And hey, don't we all like getting something for free? So I'm going to go over that a little bit today. I'm going to show you 10 places where you can get free quilt patterns. I'd love it if you hit that subscribe button. I always love new subscribers. Thank you so much. And I am on different social media outlets. I'm at Create with Claudia, so go ahead and check those out too. Before I go over those 10 places where you can get those free quilt patterns, I did want to say just a quick note about copyright and respecting copyright. I don't sell patterns currently, although I'm planning to, hoping to in the near future. If designers, pattern designers, all sorts of people, book publishers, that sort of thing, they do have copyrights on those patterns, and those are copyrighted, and you really shouldn't go and make a copy and hand it to somebody. Like, let's say your Aunt Susie has a great quilt she made and she bought a pattern and you ask her for that. She really isn't supposed to make a copy of that pattern and give it to you. So I do ask, before I get into this list, that you do respect copyright, and even free patterns have copyrights on them. I'm not an attorney, this is not legal advice, but copyright is a big issue among designers and artists. So one thing I also want to add here is it's really important, if you're posting pictures of quilts that you've made from a pattern, be it a free pattern, a purchase pattern, or one from a book or a magazine, anything like that, you really should put in there who wrote the pattern, what the name of the pattern is, and where you got the pattern. So here are my 10 places you can get quilt patterns for free. Fabric designers are a great place. Their websites are a great place to find free patterns. Not all of them have it on it, but it's those people that design those patterns of those fabrics that you love. There's some really big names out there. If you're a quilter, you know who they are, but check out fabric designer websites. A lot of times they make patterns to highlight their newest fabric line, and they are free and they have them on their website. So if you have a particular artist that you really like, check out his or her website. You might just find some free patterns there. Fabric manufacturers are another good place to find free patterns. Some sites have gobs of them. Basically, they get people, designers and other quilt artists, to make quilts around their latest fabric lines, and a lot of times those patterns are free. So again, go to their websites. If you know a particular, let's say you like a particular manufacturer, go check out their website. Chances are pretty high that you will find some free quilt patterns. Usually, or almost always, they're highlighting a fabric line, but as quilters know, you can easily switch out different fabrics. You don't have to use those lines, although there's some beautiful fabrics, and there's some beautiful ideas there that you can get, and they're for free. Quilt and craft blogs are another one. There are a lot of individual quilters out there like me. I do crafts and quilts, but I also do free patterns. So if you go to my website, and there are tons of other ones out there, do a search, maybe go on Pinterest or something else. You can find free quilt pattern bloggers. And crafters also, they may not just specialize in quilt patterns, but there are crafters out there who have a lot of quilt patterns too. Crafters love to quilt, and I know quilters also like to craft too. So it's sort of a back and forth there. But do your research. There's a lot on the internet you can find. Don't forget to check out online quilt shops. Online quilt shops a lot of times will have a section, or they have their own blog that provides free quilt patterns. There are a couple real big name ones, and also some smaller ones. Go online, check out those online online quilt shops, and see where their free patterns. You can even do under their search tab. You can look for free patterns, and something might or might not come up. And the best part is you're already on the shop, so hey, you can always do a little fabric shopping while you're there. They'd probably love that too. But definitely don't forget online quilt shops. Quilt magazine websites are another good option. You can go to different magazines, maybe one you subscribe to or one that you don't subscribe to. Check it out. They do sometimes have free patterns. Some of them don't have a lot, but you might be able to hunt around. Again, use that search bar on your computer and you should be able to find a couple that are really pretty. Quilt magazines, come on, they publish some beautiful patterns, and you never know, there might be some on there that are free, and I have found a couple on there as well. YouTube, I probably should have started with that one. I mean, here we are. You're watching this video on YouTube. I know I put all of my free patterns. I do or try to do a tutorial on almost all of them. So they are free on here on YouTube. There are loads of quilt bloggers and crafters. Lots of people put free patterns on YouTube. So check it out. Your local library. Let's say you're not on the computer a lot. Go check out your local library. You can check out a book, make a quilt. You can't copy it, or you shouldn't copy it, but you can take that book home and make that quilt really quickly. I think you can usually check out books for 2 or 3 weeks at a time. So don't forget your local library. I know in these days of computers, sometimes it can get overlooked, but there's some really nice quilt books at libraries. Don't forget social media. That's a great place to find free quilt patterns. People are sharing things all the time. Facebook, for example, you could join a quilt group, or you can follow or like somebody's page, maybe a big quilt designer or a blogger. They will share links from other people's patterns that are free, so that's a good reference. Pinterest, you can do searches on free quilt pattern or free Christmas quilt pattern or whatever you want to do. You might want to narrow it down and things will pop up. You can find some really beautiful pieces, really beautiful patterns. And what was the last one? Was Instagram. Of course, Instagram. Again, Google that, look up that hashtag free quilt pattern or free Christmas quilt, whatever you want to do. Things will come up. This one's a little different, and not everybody has the nerve to do it, but it's easier than you think. Yourself. You design your own quilt. It's free. You'll come up with the pattern yourself. It'll be all yours, and heck, you can copyright it too if you really like it and it's a really original one. There are different ways you can get quilt software. You can paper and pencil. I've done it many different ways, but just don't forget yourself. It's not as hard as you think it is. If you have a little bit of know-how, and maybe you have a book that tells you sort of how to start. There are also tutorials online that can help you do that too, how to design a quilt, that sort of thing. But yeah, use your own imagination. I bet you'll be surprised what you can come up with. Number 10 is technically not free, although it's when you look at the cost ratio, it actually really, you can get pretty close to free patterns, and that's magazine subscriptions. I know most quilters get magazines at home, even though they're also available online. I have had magazines where I can get up to 10 patterns in each magazine, and if you think of the cost of the subscription, 10 patterns per magazine, you can get a really good deal on patterns. So like I said, it's not technically free, but it's almost free. So yeah, don't forget you have those magazines. I know I have stacks of magazines I've gotten over the years, and it's definitely worth it to look at those, because you can find some beautiful patterns in magazines. So there you have it. There are my 10 places to get free quilt patterns. I hope you check them out. And of course, if you like a pattern and it's not free, go ahead and buy it. I always encourage that too. There's some just absolutely stunning quilt patterns out there when you do some research. So go ahead and check them all out. But if you're on a budget, or you just don't feel like spending the money, go ahead and check out all these free places too. As always, I love it when I get new subscribers, so if you hit that subscribe button, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm also on social media at Create with Claudia, so check out everything I post over there. Thanks so much for watching today, and have a great day.